Pleasant day to you, sir. This is our PowerPoint presentation of our research study entitled Acceptability of Squash Chips or Maxima Cucurbita. So this food product was developed by Mark Lee DeVito, a BSA fresh graduate at Visayas State University, Isabel, on his book Establishment of Squash Cucurbita Maxima Chips Processing Enterprise in San Roque, Isabel, Leyte. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first part is the ingredients and procedures. So according to the book of Mark Lee on page 38, the, the ingredients are the following. The first and main ingredient of this food product is the squash. Squash or kalabasa is considered as one of the most delicious vegetables and the most commonly and regularly grown that trail on the ground. In addition, this crop has long been known in the country. Its cultivation is mostly confined in the backyard scale in the Philippines. The other raw ingredients are cornstarch, ground pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, white sugar, salt, oil, various flavorings such as chili, barbecue, and cheese, and different food coloring such as red, orange, and green. These raw materials can be procured locally at Isabel, Leyte. The next part are the procedure. As stated on the book of the video on page 45 to 56, the procedures are the following. The first part is cutting. The whole squash is cut into slices in order to easily remove the unwanted parts and seeds which are not needed in the processing. Next one is peeling. The squash is peeled to remove the unwanted parts such as squash seeds, and skin peeling is done for about 5 minutes using a sharp knife and chopping board. Next is washing. The peeled and sliced squash are manually washed with tap water for almost 5 minutes to remove the dirt attached to it. Cooking. The squash is cooked in an open flame using a firewood. It is cooked using a cooking pot with a capacity of 2 to 3 kilograms. Cooling. After cooking, the squash was placed in a plastic strainer and cooled for about 5 to 10 minutes. Mashing. The cooked squash is mashed using a fork and mixing bowl or other containers. After mashing, measuring of ingredients such as mashed squash, cornstarch, and other ingredients is done with the use of measuring cups and spoon to produce equal size of squash dough rolls and taste. After that, mixing will be done. Ingredients such as the squash, cornstarch, ground pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and sugar are mixed together in the mixing bowl. After mixing, the process of kneading is accomplished by folding and pressing the mixture repeatedly with hands in making the dough and making sure that smooth texture is achieved and ready for rolling. After kneading, the squash dough is formed into squash dough rolls after kneading. This is done by turning over the squash dough repeatedly until dough rolls are formed into cylindrical shapes like jumbo-sized hot dogs. After rolling, boiling of the squash dough rolls means putting it into the cooking pot with the boiling water. After boiling, cooling is the next one. The cooked squash dough rolls were placed in stainless trays and set aside for 5 to 10 minutes after boiling to cool down before adding color and chilling. After cooling, the next part is chilling. The squash dough rolls were packed in plastic bags, sorted by color, and chilled overnight inside a refrigerator or ice box so that it will be easily sliced into chips. After chilling, slicing is the next one. Shield squash dough rolls were cut into very thin rather slices. This is done with the use of a knife and chopping board. After slicing, the, the next one is sun drying. This process is done by placing the chips into the nets hanging in an open area exposed under the sunlight. After sun drying, frying of chips will be done. It involves cooking this in an oil heated in the frying pan. After frying, flavoring will be the next one. The fried squash chips were added with varied flavors which include barbecue, cheese, and spicy. The flavorings were added to the chips placed inside the plasticware, then it was covered and shaken afterwards to spread the flavoring evenly. After flavoring, weighing will be done. Weighing is the process of measuring these fried squash chips ready for packing. This is done in order to produce equally squash chips. The last part will be packing and labeling. Packing and labeling is the final process of production. Packing is done for easy distribution of the products. This helps the product in maintaining crispiness. So what makes squash chips unique? According to Mark Lee 2021, the squash chips is unique because it has no added preservatives and it is made available for kids and health consumers. It is unique and new considering that it has various flavors enough to give respondents satisfaction. It is a unique product that could be possibly endorsed as delicacies in the town of Isabel Leyte. And aside from that, it is a healthy snack alternative to regular chips. Health benefits. According to Markley's book on page 2, the squash chips has vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants which provide several health benefits. It improves eye health, skin health, nutrition, and reduces oxidative stress. Harm and danger. According to the article of WebMD Medical Conference, the squash is high in beta-carotene content and can provide many benefits. But studies also suggest that consuming too much of this compound can increase the risk of lung cancer. Thus, people should consume it in moderation. So the last part is evaluation material. So in our research study, we use sensory evaluation for our evaluation material because according to Brenda 2011, sensory evaluation or testing is a method of evaluating food products in terms of the human senses of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. While taste appears to be a significant factor, it is not a consideration. Sensory testing is often used to determine consumer acceptability of a food product. So to evaluate our chosen product, which is squash chips, we will use sensory evaluation or testing to know the level of acceptance of the squash chips. So here are some examples of evaluation material to evaluate our food product, which is the squash chips. So that's all, sir. Thank you for listening.